For those of you that are unaware, I have just covered the failed femininity of Netflix's Katara, where Netflix did a great job bastardizing a fantastic female character for the sake of just making her strong. So today, we are going to be talking about a badass female character that is actually badass and also a feminine character. A character that is awesome, that is goated with the sauce. Today, we're talking about Frieren the Slayer of basic shonen women. Okay, so I just saw this on my feed. Let's watch some anime. I didn't see this video beforehand, but I completely agree. I think Frieren is an actually goated female character. As far as female characters go, it's so rare to find like a really great one in shonen, but I guess this isn't shonen. It's a terrible takeaway here. But Frieren is a fantastic female character. An elf wizard that is incredibly powerful, that lived forever, that told people to kill themselves, which is so based. And like, dude, she's OP, but she's also loving. She's caring. She's respectful. She's understanding. She's sad when a dude dies. Like, that never happens. That's crazy. All right, so let's jump into it.
I'm typical shonen girl, and I'm good for absolutely nothing.
That's not true. I've seen the Rule 34. Got him.
Women in anime are a problem.
Women are 50% of the population, and somehow they're often written like the author has
God damn it, wait.
never engaged with one.
Because with how much
I mean, maybe they didn't.
shonen there is out in the world, I can really only pick out a few that actually have good, well-written females.
Yeah, it's a little, it's a little rough out here. It's a little rough here. Yeah, Frieren's a good example of an OP character done right. It's a good example of an OP female character done right for sure.
90% of them only exist as fan service or as an accessory to the male protagonist.
I mean, all true. God damn it. This compilation at the beginning. No! No! Okay, whoa, wait, hold on just a second. I know those boobs. Power is a fantastic female character. I'm just gonna say it right there. All right, the rest of the list you showed, Orihime and Sakura and all those, yeah, honestly, 100%. Power is a great female character. A fantastic written character. You know her just from the boobs? Yeah. Okay, Mitsuri is, like, not the greatest female character. But I love when people use her as an example. When people show her and they're like, bro, you see, this was clearly like men don't understand. Men write terrible female characters. Look at Mitsuri. Meanwhile, Demon Slayer is written by a woman. This is my favorite example. This is like the ultimate red flag. It's like when people want to posture and be like, clearly men don't know how to write female characters.
If you're a fan of shonen anime,
I am.
then it should be no surprise to hear that when it comes to female characters, there is a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, she right. I'm not gonna lie. She right. There are a lot of good female characters in shonen. I think characters like Yamato from One Piece, or Nami from One Piece, or Robin from One Piece. Like, these are cool characters. Like, I'm not gonna lie. They're pretty cool characters. I think even in more modern time, dude, I think that Toga from My Hero, great character. Great fucking character. Alright. Shonen. As shonen as they get. I think also, there are a lot of really good characters. I think Furumeto Alchemist, the entire cast is perfect, right? Professor from Furumeto Alchemist, the teacher Izumi Curtis, goated. Makima, Power from Chainsaw Man, fantastic characters. Honestly, I know Fairy Tail has like a pretty shitty cast in general for a lot of people, but Urza, actually great goddamn female character. So listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say that there are none. I just think that there are definitely lacking ones, for sure.
Women in shonen have been countlessly described as trash, garbage, failures, disappointments, and I have to say, I agree.
Wow! Okay, she right.
For being notoriously useless,
Yeah, Sakura is like humiliating as a character. I'm not gonna lie, she right.
one-dimensional, whiny, stereotypical, tokenized.
bro.
For being notoriously useless, one-dimensional.
Dude, this isn't a shonen. That's not fair. This is Rent a Girlfriend.
A whiny,
But that's literally not a girlfriend.
stereotypical, tokenized, with no impact on the story and only good for some fan service. Women in shonen.
Okay, all right, too far. Not some of them are awful, but some of those weren't even shonen.
And not all shonen, but most shonen.
Bro, yes, preach! My queen, Kagura from Gintama, goated female character.
And make evident, just like any other aspect of society, how misogynistic anime can be. So then when an anime like Frieren Beyond Journey's End,
Frieren is so perfect. Frieren might be one of the most perfect anime ever. It's not my favorite of all time, but it's perfection into what it was supposed to do. It did what it was supposed to do so fucking well.
comes around and surges to the top of lists like My Anime List, and manga sales go off the charts,
Yeah.
it makes you really want to pause and acknowledge the importance of this anime. Female-led
True. Pause.
shonen series are few and far between, and by female
Well, I mean, okay.
led, I mean not co-main characters, but truly female-led.
I mean, there are a couple. I mean, Promised Neverland, it's definitely female-led, and she's a pretty good character, I'd say.
Acknowledge the importance of this
the
anime.
other
Female-led shonen
Yeah, part 6 of JoJo's, she's a pretty cool character. Not gonna lie, pretty cool character.
shonen on My Anime List, roughly only 5 have a main female protagonist, which
Well, I think the reason for that is not like a sexist thing. I think it's the fact that shonen anime are male demographic anime. Shonen is not a genre, shonen is a demographic, and I think a lot of people don't exactly recognize that 100% of the time. So, by the fact that it's literally meant to be relatable to teenage boys, obviously I think most of the stories are gonna have male-led characters. That's not a fantastic example. Okay, let me show them. All right. So here we got My Anime List. Okay, let's find shonen. Where's shonen? Demographics. Okay, so here we have shonen anime and shoujo anime. So shonen anime is definitely going to be primarily male-led. All right, these are all male protagonists. Okay, even though, by the way, this was written by a woman. By the way, these are definitely male-led anime for the most part. Even though not all of them are, definitely the vast majority of them are. Okay, but shoujo anime, which is literally the equivalent. Shoujo is the equivalent demographic, except it's for women. It's for teenage girls instead of for teenage boys. And wow, what a coincidence. This is led by a female lead. Like, female lead. Crazy how that happens. So I wouldn't say that only 4 shonen have main female characters. That's not exactly as much of a red flag as I think some people might think it is by hearing that face value. But that doesn't mean Frieren isn't goated. Frieren is not a shonen, though.
which makes sense because shonen literally means the demographic
Never mind, she said that. Never mind, she said it.
young boys. But all of this to say, what Frieren has accomplished, a female-led shonen taking the
It's not a shonen! Is Frieren a shonen? Okay, I'm so confused. I don't even think Frieren's shonen. That's crazy. All right, Frieren genres shonen manga. Okay, cool. I didn't even consider that. That's crazy.
highest rated spot of all shonen, let alone all anime of all time,
Yeah,
on a site like My Anime List
That's great.
should be taken note of. And
It should be taken note of. It's actually insanely good.
of course, My Anime List
It's shonen, except you know the trope of how the shonen protagonist, like Naruto or whatever, they start off as like this little loser guy, and then they end up growing up as like the really badass character by the end of the story, right? That's like the typical shonen trope. Frieren is a shonen, let's say, but it's from the perspective of the master instead of the student. Frieren is the master. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's so cool. It's the trope of growing up and getting stronger, except the person that's growing up and getting stronger isn't the main character this time. What a cool ass concept. Dude, Frieren is literally goated. I have to make a whole video on Frieren.
ratings change so often, and anime will surge to the top of the list only to be brought down by fans of other shows. But that fact is not.
Ah! Dude, was that a butt reference? Don't ask why I have that just pulled up. Don't ask why that's just pulled up. You don't want to know. It was just there. Don't worry, guys.
Not diminish the popularity in which is illustrated in manga sales. Frieren Beyond Journey's End has added 7 million copies to circulation in the
Let's go,
first
dude.
2 months since the anime's release, taking the total figure to 17 million copies sold by November 2023.
Crazy.
This means 10 million copies were sold over 4.5 years, and then 7 million copies sold in just 2 months.
I mean, that makes sense because that's when the anime aired. The anime is the ultimate advertisement for the manga, so I guess that does make sense.
Thus making it one of the best-selling manga of 2023 in Japan, putting it in contention with the likes of Blue Lock and Jujutsu Kaisen. And I know not everything has to be about gender. Surely the reason Frieren Beyond Journey's End is so successful is not solely because the main character is a woman, but
What? No story? Okay, dude, I think this is like in the mindset that a lot of people have. I don't think any story is successful because the main character is a specific gender or a specific race or a specific, you know, sexual orientation. They're successful because they're good-ass stories with good-ass characters. No story is successful because they put X minority in X position or X sex in X spot. I don't know. I feel like that's Twitter brain rot a little bit.
I think it's pretty cool that a female protagonist is leading the way for contemporary shonen, and I think that's pretty important.
It is pretty great. However, it's because Frieren is a fantastic freaking character. She is so well written. Someone that goes, dude, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Frieren's plot, because I thought she would have like summarized it by now, but Frieren is a character that is an elf, therefore nigh immortal, lives for thousands of years, okay? All that fun stuff. And Frieren never really understood the fact that she went on a 50-year quest or a 10-year quest with these adventures. She never really took that as like a major part of her life. Like ultimately, she has a whole life ahead of her. This was just 10 years. 10 years is nothing to someone who could live thousands. Someone who's already lived for thousands, right? 10-year quest, that's nothing. That's bullshit. And then 50 years later, she ends up wandering back to see how her old quest mates are doing, and they're really old. They're really, really old. And someone that was on the quest with her died. You know, a human guy. Himmel the hero, died at the old age of whatever, I don't know, 75, let's say. And that's crazy. That's crazy. And it hits her like a ton of bricks. Someone that she spent time with, but not enough time to actually consider like an insane part of her life, died on her. And because of this elf time dilation, she realizes that so much of her life is just kind of wasted on not valuing the meaningful relationships that she has because she just views them as relatively unimportant. It's a horrifying precedent and beautiful way of looking into what the elf trope truly means in regard to its relationships to others. The rest of the story is so focused on her reliving her adventures and trying to understand more about Himmel the hero after Himmel actually died. It's a beautiful story with a beautiful plot. And I don't think, it's obviously not because she's a female character, it's because it's a beautiful story.
Protagonist is leading the way for contemporary shonen, and I think that's pretty important. Women in shonen have been notoriously bad for so long, so for a shonen anime to have a female protagonist and for it to be doing literally the best is pretty crazy.
Okay, why is she talking so much about financial success? Man, it's not about financial success, it's about the fact that it's dope. Sorry.
I'm not saying Frieren solves the problem either. Just because a few female characters are written well doesn't mean from now on all female characters will be written better.
Yeah, true.
I just think it's important to acknowledge this success. Could an important message...
Here's the thing. I don't think that female written shonen stories didn't do well because they had women. She's almost implying that the reason why previous shonen anime failed so much is because there were women in it. That's not true. It's not like some sort of crazy bigoted perspective that's preventing them from selling copies. They're just selling copies because they're good or because people like it. That's why they do well, right? I don't know. I feel like that's like obvious. If story's good, it'll sell.
Be learned from Frieren's success, one could only hope that Frieren's character writing will be a good role model and set a precedent for future mangaka that well-written female characters can be very profitable.
Yeah, we know that. There are literally thousands of anime that have well-written female characters as main characters.
What sets Frieren Beyond Journey's End apart from the rest is that it starts where most fantasy stories end, with defeating the Demon King, and follows the long-lived mage elf Frieren on her journey after the main quest. And because elves have a lifespan much, much longer than humans, we see generations come and go and witness Frieren changing because of the relationship she builds.
Yeah. I gotta make a whole ass fucking video about Frieren at some point.
Yes, there are epic battles and intense moments you'd find in any fantasy, but compared to the story development through character interactions and relations, those moments are a drop in the bucket. These moments of connection might seem insignificant to us, as they're often not doing anything.
But they're the important things to her. Here's the thing, if Frieren lives 1,000 years, then she's faced, hundreds of insurmountable enemies, alright? She's gone through thousands of life-threatening battles. The life-threatening battles stop meaning anything, but the emotional moments that actually hit her, the emotional moments that actually make her feel something, those are the big moments. For someone like Frieren, bonding with someone is so much more powerful than, okay, so she faced her 4,000th demon enemy that wants to destroy the world. Like, that's crazy. That's such a fascinating perspective to have in regards to a character.
Consequence, but the whole point is that it doesn't really matter what you're doing. The most important thing is who you're doing it with. Perhaps the spells and magic that Frieren collects are a good embodiment of what Frieren Beyond Journey's End is. Spells that produce hot tea.
Right, it's ultimately because so she is on a quest. I don't know, she's like kind of skipping a little bit the plot here, but she goes through life trying to collect like all the spells she can, right? And that includes a lot of just seemingly useless spells that make tea. Okay. Alright, dude. Yeah, sure.
Remove rust from bronze statues, turn sweet grapes into sour ones, and allow you to see through clothes. All silly little spells, but these silly little spells also helped her restore the statues of her dear friends, let her turn grapes sour for Eisen because he says the sour the better, and let Fern get to know Stark much better.
Dude! Those examples were... Yes, she managed to re-erect the statue of her friends and beautify it because of a spell that she found. But it's not like setting up a freaking statue was useful, right? It was the emotion behind it. It was the eternal friendship that she had with this character, even though she is gonna live for another 1,000 years. She is gonna live for another 1,000 years. And her relationship with Himmel was 10 years long, and it will last her lifetime. So her erecting that statue and beautifying it with the little magic and little things that she collects meant so much. Is it just me, or is she kind of missing like part of the point of the story? Like, it was the fact that it was Himmel's favorite flowers. That was something that she remembered about Himmel, that she used to beautify that statue. Like, the focus should not be, you see that? A woman-female character is profitable. That's not the moral. The moral is it's a good-ass story with a well-written female character. That's why it's profitable.
These silly little spells turn the hero's journey into a silly little journey, which ultimately sets this so far apart from the rest of most fantasies. Okay, so the story is great, but that's
It's a silly little journey, but the emotional climaxes are not where you would think they would be just because of what an elf is and the fact that she's lived for this amount of time.
It's hardly an explanation as to why Frieren is a well-written female character, but it's Frieren's exceptional character writing that makes her a complex, multifaceted MC that quite literally carries the show.
Is she gonna get into that? I hope so. Because she didn't get into what makes the story a good story.
Again, something you don't normally see in female characters.
You told that. You mentioned that.
Shonen. I'd argue that
I'm so sorry. I wanted this to be a positive video. I didn't mean it.
she's even written better than many of the more popular shonen main characters that exist.
That's not some sort of massive mic drop moment. She's written better than popular main characters in shonen. What? Yeah, and a lot of characters that I like are also written better than popular main characters in shonen. Demon Slayer has made a lot of money, and it's a very well-loved series, and I think Demon Slayer is pretty mid. So, what does that have to do with anything? Wow, are you saying that Frieren is better written than Deku? Seems like society hates women.
Take just the first episode, for instance. There is enough character growth from Frieren in just the first episode that would put your most fragile, virgin, main character boy turned baddie to shame. At first,
Literally shows the worst main characters in shonen history.
but your most fragile,
Alright, okay, Naruto's not awful.
virgin,
Not great. Okay, yeah, Denki's not great.
and main character boy
Alright, Deku's the worst main character in shonen.
turned baddie to shame.
Alright, Solo Leveling, which is literally just a power fantasy.
At first, not concerning herself with the
Dude, notice how she didn't show, like, Luffy or Edward Elric or Gon from Hunter x Hunter. Like, bro.
likes of human because does a human concern themselves with an ant? But then realizing through the connection.
It wasn't that she wouldn't get. What? That wasn't even the plot. Oh my god.
Of human because does a boy turn baddie to shame. At first not concerning herself with the likes of human because does a human concern themselves with an ant?
That wasn't at all the point. It wasn't that she looked down at humans and viewed humans like ants beneath her and learned to change that. That wasn't even the first episode. It was just a really short time for her. It's the fact that an elf could live for thousands of years and she spent 10 years with the main character. So that 10 years was a drop of the bucket. She didn't consider that a meaningful relationship because it was only 10 years. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was a massive racist. What?
But then realizing through the connection she's built with her companions that she would in fact like to get to know and understand humans better.
No, it was the fact that she felt like that she didn't get to know them at all because they died so quickly, because he died 50 years later, and 50 years later, that's like a month for Frieren, who lives thousands of years. What? This is nothing, huh?
Frieren's nonchalantness about her 10-year journey to defeat the Demon King with the hero and crew to the realization that she didn't know much about her dear friend Himmel after he died is tragic and beautiful. The whole anime is spelled out for us.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with like racist reasons, that she thought humans were like ants beneath her, okay?
In just the first episode. Sure, demons are sometimes the villains, but the plot doesn't revolve around that.
True, the plot revolves around her character growth and how meaningful, emotional, and human interactions and are what makes your life have value. What?
It revolves around Frieren and her desire to change. And
I don't know, bro. Oh my god, dude.
What sets her apart from the usual shonen MC is that she loves wasting time.
What? Oh, they massacred my girl. No one understands Frieren, I guess. She's different than shonen main characters because she loves wasting time. Dude, do you realize the wasting time is such a good concept here because she has the way we, as human beings that only have, 80 years on this planet, the way we view time is very different than the way she views time. She views a year as like the way we view 5 minutes, okay? You watching a 20-minute YouTube video is the equivalent of Frieren wasting a year. So obviously her view of time is very different than ours, and it's something she learns very quickly because her student is a human, and if she keeps meandering and wasting time this way, little does she know her friend, her disciple, will be dead without any future before she knows it. She is on an introspective journey, my homie. She realizes that she can't take time with the people she cares about. She realizes that she can't take that even minuscule, infinitesimally small, perspectively speaking, amount of time with other people. She can't take that for granted because that's everything. It's not because she's unlike other protagonists, because she loves wasting time.
Okay, not really, but she would spend an entire 24-episode season just reading in a magic shop if she could. Every hero, sorcerer, shinigami, wizard, ninja, pirate, hunter are all in the biggest rush to become the best.
Oh my god, I'm like, it's because they have a goal. Oh god, dude. I'm like, she's already the best. You're like missing the whole point. This is after the journey. This is after the journey. Oh. You know what? Naruto, after the end of Naruto, isn't in a rush to become the best. Because that's when this story takes place.
The strongest, save the most lives, save the world, kill the whole world, kill Muzan Kibutsuji, or touch a boob. Well, Frieren lived for 500 years by herself after her master died, just waiting to go kill the Demon King. Of course, Frieren does have time on her side, unlike us mere mortal peasant ants, but this gives Frieren as a character more perspective because not every challenge is the biggest challenge in the world.
I feel like she's cooking, but I think everyone should cook. Everyone could cook, but not everyone should cook, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like she's describing literally the weakest aspects of this entire. She was training, she was doing stuff, she did things that she found valuable, and to us, it seems like she's wasting time because, well, she has a lot more time on her hands than we do. 10 years for her is 2 months for us. Like, dude.
Not every villain is the biggest baddie ever. There will always be another challenge and another villain, so
But you have to realize this is after she beat the main bad guy. She beats the Demon King before all of this. She has been through insane shit. Imagine watching a story like, you know, the end of a shonen, all right? After Naruto went through everything he did, through the entire story of Naruto, okay? She is on New Game Plus Plus, okay? Dude, the emotional moments are so much more important than the new baddie that she tells to kill herself.
just relax for like a second.
The reason why she's a well-written character is because, and a well-written female character especially, is because she's overpowered. She's strong as shit, all right? But despite the fact that she is so mega flawed, she's very flawed. She's trying to grow. She's made mistakes. She regrets decisions she makes. She tries to completely understand and love people and humans and appreciate them for who they are and appreciate and value the time that she spends with them. It's a massive personality growth. The character development that Frieren goes through is absolutely insane. That's why she's a well-written female character.
Or for like 10 years. This zooming out of a very zoomed-in nature of classic shonen gives Frieren a more realistic and mature air to her.
She's literally the main character after the story ends, though. Like, she is mature. You know, she's 1,000 years old!
We can all learn a lesson from Frieren, as there will never not
Dude, if this was my first introduction to Frieren, I wouldn't even pick up the show.
be more challenges or more problems, so why not try to find joy in the present moment? You can work to defeat the big bad or become the strongest whatever, but nothing really ever stops after you complete your goal.
That's not the lesson. The lesson isn't about working towards becoming the best is a bad goal. Therefore, it's not worth it. That's really not the lesson. The lesson is valuing the time that you spend with the people you love. That's the lesson. It's not training to become the best is cringe because even after you become the best, it doesn't really end, so it's a bad lesson.
Look how fucking exhausted Naruto is now that he's the Hokage.
Really? You're gonna bring an example from Boruto as to why Naruto's not a great character?
The big goal, he's done everything to work towards. It definitely doesn't look as romantic as we thought it would.
Are you crazy? Like, what? You're gonna compare Naruto from Boruto to Frieren?
As Frieren and Fern were searching for the blue moon weed to plant by Himel's statue, Fern got frustrated by what she thought was a waste of time.
She definitely only watched the first 3 episodes of the show.
And said, Mistress Frieren has the power to save many people. It's unacceptable that she's wasting her time on something that might not even exist. You might find her selfish, but why can't Frieren enjoy her life doing what she wants to?
No! Why? You're not even explaining even a little bit why this show is beautiful. Why can't Frieren just do whatever she wants to? Point successfully missed. It's not that she's being selfish. It's the fact that she doesn't even know she's being selfish. Because to her, wasting a week looking for flowers is not a waste of time because her life is so long. Valuing the little things is her character arc. That is, like, insane.
Just because she's the strongest doesn't mean she needs to be confined to the grind of being a hero.
Literally not the point.
Even Himmel the hero wanted to have fun in his adventure. Sure, if they would have speedrun their journey, maybe more lives would have been saved, but it's all about balance, which is...
This is fucking insane. She's actually putting up a logical argument why they could have wasted more time and okay, true, maybe more lives would have been saved if they would have been in a rush, but like... Why don't you just have fun, guys? Do you hear this?
Or if they would have speedrun their journey, maybe more lives would have been saved, but it's all about balance, which is certainly lacking in most shonen.
That's the worst take in the universe. They should balance more. Yeah, definitely a lot of innocent people are gonna die because they decide to take a break every once in a while, but like, you don't always have to be on the grind. That is not the lesson. What?
I mean, don't get me wrong, Frieren isn't-
The side quests are really important too. I think that's an important lesson. The fact that Frieren is always does side quests and helps people. The fact that she does a lot of things that are very valuable and important and very human in many ways are very cool and powerful. And it's also the fact that she is literally, her character development is the fact that she took time for granted.
An actual monster, as Flamme raised her to basically only fight and deceive demons and use her magic for revenge with the only goal of slaying the Demon King.
God, what a cool fucking character.
And after Flamme died, she lived for 500 years by herself, keeping a low profile, doing nothing until the day Himmel, Aizen, and Heiter came to recruit her.
Literally insane character backstory. by the way. So freaking cool, which she said very, very quickly.
She says her 10 years traveling with the hero didn't even take up 1/100th of her life. That's basically like spending less than a day with a few strangers for a human. But when you think about her life up until then, Himmel...
Okay, couldn't even do the math. It's 100th of your life. Let's say the average lifespan is 80 years, okay? 80 divided by 100 is 0.8, okay? 0.8 years. That's almost a year. It's not like a few hours. It's like spending almost a year. Which is like, it's a stupid little nitpick, but it's very important because someone that you know for almost a year is very different than someone that you know for a few hours, okay? So obviously this meant a lot, but also the fact that it's these people in this, let's say it's 9 months of your life, okay? All right, so it's almost a year. So 9 months of your life. You were in a very, very terrible state of mind, raised to be some sort of slayer, killer, demon-hunting monster, okay? You hated yourself, you hated who you were as you were doing it. And then these people, they took you out of your dark, dark pit, okay? They loved you. They treated you well. You went on an adventure with them for 9 months. 9 months. It's not a super long time, mind you, but it's a bit to get to know them, and they literally saved you. They saved you from yourself. They changed your life. They changed who you are and what you value and what you do, okay? And now you're on this adventure, and now the adventure ends, okay? You keep going, because ultimately it was only 9 months. Then you go on an adventure, all right, for 50 years, which, again, in this equivalent is 3 years. Going on a 3-year adventure is not crazy. So for 3 years, she ends up doing her own thing, taking a break from fighting the Demon King, and then she comes back, and the friends, the people that she appreciated because of the 9 months they spent together, they're old and dying, and Himmel dies. Now Himmel saved her life, and did so much for her. Even though, in her perspective, obviously, they weren't best friends, they only knew each other for 9 months, it's not like it was a lifelong partner or everything, but he saved her, and he had a bond with her. And he'll never get that, and she'll never get that again. That's what's so powerful about it. That's why it's so strong. It's not that it was literally meaningless, it's that it was so meaningful despite being so short. So cherish the little things, which is a lesson that every single one of us should learn from Frieren. While yes, in scope, it'll end up meaning different things. Elmerikel, thank you so much for the sub, but that's what it is.
Eisen and Heiter.
Time affects you forever, whether it's 5 seconds or 5 years or 5 decades. Cherish the fucking little things, bro.
Were some of the first people she interacted with outside of Flamme. So no wonder Himmel had such a huge impact on her. Frieren is
Meanwhile, she said earlier that she looked at them like ants. By the way, earlier in this video.
Known as Frieren the Slayer, but she'd also rather spend her time learning stupid magic. She'll go into the northern lands and probably defeat a ton more powerful demons, but she's doing it just to talk to her long-lost friends again. It's this nuance in Frieren's character that makes her so refreshing.
What nuance? You didn't say any nuance. I said nuance. You didn't tell us any nuance in Frieren's character. Oh man. Oh man.
You can see she's a monster with her strength, intelligence, and ability to fight demons.
Okay, not character.
In the 1,000 years, she's only lost to 11 mages with less mana than her, and yet she loses to Frieren on the daily. In the most recent episode, she flipped the entire magic world on its head, yet she's also—
This is only power feats. She's only describing power feats, which, yes, is really cool and makes her a badass, overpowered character done right, and I'll probably cover that at some point, but no.
Also the sloppiest woman who can barely get herself up at a reasonable time. She's so childish yet also mature and a parental figure to many. She has a wealth of knowledge at her disposal from being alive for the past 1,000 years, yet when it comes to mimics, she turns into Vinny, who thinks he can win an iPad at the 2,000 yen gachapon.
What was that reference? I don't even know who this is.
She's the most deviant in the anime.
Yeah, dude, she's goofy. She has a great personality. Like, it's not just the character development. It's not just the strength. It's not just the fascinating time dilation nuances here, all right? Like, really, really, really cool nuances in the time dilation and what matters and her relationships to people and all that. But also, she has such a well-written personality that shines in every episode. It's like the ditzy, lofty, carefree, tied with the emotional bundle of nerves that she could sometimes be also. Like, that's really good. That's great!
With her dissolving clothes potion, her seduction technique, and noticing how big Frien's boobs have gotten, yet she's so oblivious.
I see, that's awesome. Like, all goated stuff, let's be real.
Oblivious when it comes to Himo's love for her. Frieren's got so many sides to her.
She's oblivious on two fronts. One, because of her entire backstory that grew her up to be a emotionless, demon-slaying machine. That's one. And two, because she feels like she only knew Himmel for 9 months, whereas they spent 10 years together. And she regrets that.
It makes me forget all of the one-dimensional female characters that came before her.
Dude, the point of Frieren is that Frieren itself is beautiful, and that's why Frieren is successful. Frieren isn't successful because Sakura was shit.
I'm just kidding. I'll never forget the pile of corpses of shallow female characters upon which Frieren's character was built off of.
Frieren's character was not built off shallow female characters. Frieren was a well-written character in her own right. I'm so mad. I'm so mad, bro. Frieren makes me want to hang out with Frieren. Aurora Phoenix, thank you so much for being here. It's nice to have you here.
Frieren's character isn't inherently gendered. Yes, she's a female MC, but it isn't a coming of age or told from a gendered point of view.
Wow, it's almost like Frieren has absolutely nothing to do with gender, and it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a female character that it's successful, and it's just successful because it's a good story.
However, the most gendered thing about Frieren Beyond Journey's End is
the gendered thing about Frieren.
The lineage of strong mages, perhaps the strongest mages that Frieren belongs to. It's over 1,000 years of master and apprentice lineage that
this has, like, okay, they're women, but this has nothing to do with, like, gender
consists of Zeri, Flom, Frieren, and Fern. You're telling me that some of the most renowned mages of their time are all women? That's so fucking cool.
Like, I don't even know what I'm saying here. I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna get canceled for this one too. Nux, you're shitting on a smaller creator? Listen, I thought this was gonna be a different video when I clicked on it, okay? Like, what the frick?
Zeri is a living grimoire who practically knows—
They're all badass female characters, you're right. But it's not like it's cool because it's a lineage of women. It's like, oh god, lineage of women. Thank god they got the men out of this one.
Every spell known to humanity and closest thing to the omniscient and omnipotent goddess. The great mage Flame is the hero of ancient times and the creator of humanity's magic. Frieren is the mage who was a member of the party who defeated the Demon King, whose legacy is still yet developing, and Fern is a prodigy and the youngest mage ever to receive the highest score imaginable on the 3rd class mage exam.
True, they're all awesome, badass female characters done right, true. But this has nothing to do with being like, women are awesome. Like, women are awesome. This is true. Good point.
Whose legacy, again, is still being—
I think she jumped off Twitter and wrote this video script.
Developed. There's no way you can say Frieren isn't about gender when you have this—
It's not about gender. Frieren is literally not about gender.
This incredible lineage of female mages.
Frieren is not about gender. Gender is like the least important thing in Frieren's story. It's literally not about gender. What is going on, bro? What is even happening?
But at the same time, it doesn't beat you over the head with it.
Because it's not a point at all of the story. I didn't even think about gender when I was watching the show. Like, literally not at all. Huh?
Frieren and Fern operate so inconspicuous.
If you watch Frieren and think it's some sort of feminist power fantasy, you're brain dead. Frieren is a goated story, a goated show, a goated character. And the reason is not because of this.
In their nightgowns, that it always shocks you when you get a taste of just how powerful they are. And
not because they're women.
Yes, there's romance, which is often a topic that gets associated with female-oriented genres.
Are you tripping? There's romance in everything! It's clearly about the female gender because there's romance. And romance is women.
And I hate to bring it up because it's so outdated, but if you look at almost all of the female characters in Shonen, yes, the only thing they have going for them is that they are looking for love or they're in love with the hero.
Yes, because Shonen is generally a self-insert genre for teenage boys. There is also a genre or demographic called shoujo, which is almost as big as Shonen, and it's an entire demographic of teenage girls. And the entire shoujo demographic is about a boy that falls in love with the girl.
So what about Frieren? Frieren is in love with the hero? Like, okay, sure.
Not really. Frieren regrets that she squandered the time that the hero still had on this earth. She isn't in love with the hero. Like, he asked her to marry him, and she said no! What is going on?
Maybe she's
This is a story where she made bonds with people and appreciated them as friends for 9 months worth of her life. And then after they died, she only then realized how much they meant to her. That's when she cried.
realizing her love for him now, but hot damn, the hero is head over heels in love with Frieren. Hima, the hero's love for
You're describing a shoujo right now, you know that, not a shonen.
Frieren is so in your face that for being so smart, Frieren is denser than Fern's defensive magic. He loves—
What is even going on, dude? I am like losing my mind. Like, these are not the points of the story. No one understands Frieren, confirmed.
Loved her in the past, she loves him in the present. It's a love story without being a love story, and that gives the story room to breathe and be so much more than a romance.
It's a love story without being a love story, and it gives the story room to breathe. That's a take.
So why is Frieren so important? As a female—
It's important because it's a great show, and it brought lots of love to a lot of people. It gives you great lessons and morals, like appreciating the time you have and the relationships you build, not letting them squander and get fallen to the wayside. It's a brilliant introspective look into humanity, as well as into relationships, as well as into the trope of what elves are in fiction, and it's a hidden tragedy behind the fact that they could live for as long as they do. Yeah, all those things. It's not a love story. It's not important because she's a female character that sold a lot of money.
Female anime fan, it's often difficult to navigate which demographic I relate to most. You would think—
You just pick up shows you like. You like the show, watch it. You don't like the show, don't watch it. You don't have to find some sort of demographic to align with.
shoujo or josei because I'm literally that demographic, but I've never really been into romance, drama, or slice of life anime. And I know shoujo and josei aren't just those genres, but the overwhelming majority of anime adaptations are. Okay, so what about shonen and seinen? My favorite anime of all time mostly consists of shonen and seinen, but
So her favorite genre is shonen, but she hates women in shonen. I guess it's possible, but...
Anime targeting these demographics also tended to pick female characters in a pretty garbage way, as I mentioned before. And
most of those that you just showed were not shonens.
Anime of all time mostly consist of shonen and seinen, but anime targeting these demographics also tended to pick—
Okay, I don't know who this is. Who is this guy? Who's this lady? Who's her? What anime is this? What anime is this? Chat. Who knows? Okay, I never heard of it. Alright.
Female characters in a pretty garbage way.
But this is not a shonen. It's the My Girlfriend is Really Cute. These are ecchi anime. They're not shonen anime. They're a different thing. This is My Girlfriend is a Gal, right? Like, this is also, it's not a shonen.
As I mentioned before.
Dress Up Darling is also, I don't think it's a shonen. It's a slice of life romance comedy, but it's not a shonen.
And you'll also find female leads few and far between in those genres as well.
Because it's targeting! Okay, dude, because it's targeting male teenagers that want to self-insert, okay?
That is why it is so refreshing to finally get some non-romance, non-slice-of-life, female-led anime.
It is a slice of life. Frieren is literally a slice of life anime. Yeah, there's an overarching plot, but it is literally a slice of life anime.
Give us more action, fantasy, adventure, comedy anime with well-written female protagonists. As you can see, there's a huge market for it, and that vacuum—
The market here is not for the female character. It's here because the story's good.
needs to be filled. Female-led shonen with well-written female characters that are nuanced and multifaceted are obviously successful.
She keeps saying nuanced and multifaceted like every 2 sentences. Frieren, she's so nuanced and multifaceted. How? Because it's a love story without being a love story.
As we see with Frieren. So hopefully we will start to see a trend in anime and characters that follow in her footsteps. Let me know your thoughts about Frieren Beyond Journey's End and women in shonen in the comments, but not if it's a wrong thought.
I think she'll consider my entire reaction to this the wrong thought.
Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button for Let's Watch Some Anime. I've been Molly.
I'll be honest, I didn't like this video. To be honest. No offense. I really don't mean to be rude here. I didn't like the video very much. Definitely check her out if this is your type of content. It is not mine. I don't know how this ended up on my feed. Probably because I like Frieren and this just ended up there because people haven't really been doing as many videos on Frieren as maybe they should have been, because Frieren's freaking awesome and deserves all the love. So I hope I did a good job talking about why I think Frieren is really good despite the fact that I didn't really agree with this video at all. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I do apologize, and of course, listen, this is obvious, but don't send some sort of hate or harassment or pop in her comments saying she's wrong. She's entitled to her opinion the same way I am entitled to mine. Just because I disagree with her opinion, that doesn't mean that I have any bad feelings towards her in any way at all. Just because I didn't like her video, okay? I just want that to be very clear here. But holy shit, we need some good-ass Frieren videos ASAP. If you made it to the end, click one of these 2 videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fam.